The 2026 Nations Championship is here, the first ever Nations Championship, and France have just released their squad list for their opening 3 games of the Nations Championship, touring down to the Southern Hemisphere, playing against New Zealand, the Wallabies, and Japan. Now, I have to say, if you see I'm full of sweat, it's because there's a massive heat wave currently in the UK, and I must be honest, I haven't been living in South Africa for a few years now, so I am struggling. It is extremely warm, but this team for France as well, they are looking really hot on form right now. So this team right here could actually honestly do some really good damage. Now, some of the Toulouse players aren't there, some of the other teams aren't there as well, but looking at some of these names, I don't really think they're going to have that much of a problem. I think they're going to give the All Blacks a run for their money, and I really do think they have a very good chance against the Wallabies as well. That being said, I think this team right now will try out a few different combinations, get some inexperienced guys experience, and also just kind of try to see which combinations they can kind of get solidified before the World Cup next year. And there are a few names back in the team that once were maybe dropped from the team who I think are going to make a very big impression. But I will also be covering all the Nations Championship teams in the tournament, but whether it's predicted lineups, match reactions, match previews, and of course the player ratings, which I know everybody enjoys. I will be doing that for France as well. So we'll get right into the team, but before we do, if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to like and subscribe to help the channel grow. I appreciate all the support, I really do, and there's going to be a lot more rugby content coming out soon, a lot more. So we'll get right into it. Also, the France fans that are new here, the French fans that are new here, please help me out in the comments with some of these pronunciations. I'm not perfect when it comes to these pronunciations. In fact, I might even be horrific at some of these pronunciations, but help me out in the comments. I'm going to try my best. I was really good during the Six Nations, but it got a bit worse towards the end now, and I've had a bit of a break from the French name. So let's get right into it. Starting off with the forwards: Moses Alo-Emile, Hugo Aradao, Demba Bamba, Pierre Bacheton, Esteban Capilla, Sepili Falatia, Marco Gazzotti, Michael Guillard, Oscar Gigoux, Maxime Lamotte, Barnaby Massa, Timo Mathieu, Reggie Montan, Boris Palou, Jefferson Poirot, Thomas Staniforth, Tavita Tatafu, Killian Texerant, and Reda Wardy. So a really solid forward back there. I'm seeing some really good names that played very well in the Six Nations. First of all, just from looking from the top, Demba Bamba, I'm really glad to see he's getting an opportunity. He played a bit throughout the Six Nations, a lot more from the bench, but I've always rated Demba Bamba very highly. He's a very good scrummager, he's very physical, he's good around the park as well. And I think there were a few guys, I'm not going to mention too many names, but there were a few guys in previous seasons, especially this year, that probably can't make the team because they play for Toulouse and some other teams that maybe were a bit lazy around the field as well in the forward pack, in the front row. So I'm glad to see Demba Bamba there. He's a really good player. I remember watching that special under-20 team when it was Jordan Joseph, Cameron Walkie, and him, and they were absolutely on fire together. It was absolutely awesome to watch. Then, of course, Michael Guillard, he was one of the standout players for France in the Six Nations. Of course, there were other guys as well, Thibaut Flamer, some other guys as well that are in the pecking order as well that maybe were making him play on the bench or starting lineup. They're not too sure of who the lock combinations are, but I think right now Michael Guillard as a utility when it comes to playing 7 or 8 or 6 or 4 or 5, lock or loose forward, he can play all over the field, all over the pitch, and he's a really solid player. And I think him being a utility forward, a kind of versatile player, it honestly will increase his selection chances a lot more going forward into the 23. Then of course Oscar Gigoux, I think he got a red card in one of the final games for the Six Nations, but he has been absolutely awesome every single time he's put on the France jersey. He's one of those guys I said, he's almost undercover when he plays. You don't really see too much of him, but then you look at the stats and he's made the most tackles in the game, the most carries in the game. He's a really good player, and I think Oscar Gigoux is also one of those guys that is very underrated as well. There's also a few other guys. Jefferson Poirot, I'm really excited to see him. He was very good for Bordeaux this year. He obviously didn't get opportunities because of the guys that were ahead of him, but he's been really good every single time he's been given an opportunity, and for Bordeaux he's been absolutely awesome. But there's a lot of guys there as well. I mean, there's a lot of good guys in the squad, and I think they're going to have some really fun choices in the forward pack. I will say, you can definitely tell that this is not their strongest forward pack. But then we'll go over to the back line and you'll see there's a lot of the main guys there as well. So in the back line, Theo Atisogbe, Fabien Braubery, Nicolas Depotet, Mati Ferte, Theo Fauna, Emilien Gaeton, Aaron Grandidier Nkanang, Antoine Hastoy, Mathieu Jalibert, Nolan Lacaric, Maxime Luku, Yoram Mofana, Damien Pinot, and Max Spring. So the guys they are missing there that normally play, I'm trying to think who they really are missing besides Antoine Dupont. Yes, they are missing Antoine Dupont. He's a big guy that is missing. He's one of the best players. He is the captain, but Other than that, this backline has no excuses to not dominate. It's a very good backline. It's a very good backline squad, and I think they will cause a lot of damage now throughout the Nations Championship. And I'm honestly really looking forward to it. How will they play them though? Nicolas Deportes is back from injury now. Yeramo Fana seems to be the 12 there, but Brau Bori and Emilian Gaiton were absolutely awesome since they were given that first opportunity in the Wales game. They were good against Italy as well. They were good in all those games throughout the Six Nations. Then of course, Damien Penaud. Do you play him on the wing? Do you play Theo Atisogbe at fullback? How does it work? Because Thomas Ramos, he's the other one I was thinking about. Thomas Ramos isn't there as well, and Antoine Dupont. Do you play a guy like Theo Atisogbe at fullback? Probably. You probably play a guy like Theo Atisogbe at fullback with a Damien Penaud in the wing. I'm not too sure what else. I think Louis Barry is injured. I'm not too sure because he's not here on the list, but he is injured. I think I saw that he is injured, or he's just not available. Not too sure, but it's going to be very interesting to see what they do with those guys in the backline. Will they move a few guys to the wing that are normally centers? I'm not too sure. Will they stick with Damien Penaud at 13? He's been absolutely awesome for Bordeaux at 13. Just looking at the squad here, I'm pretty sure Damien Penaud will go to the wing. Maybe Atisogbe at fullback with another guy on the wing as well from the centers maybe. I'm not too sure, but I think this team right now, all that they can focus on if they want to try win games is playing their strongest team available. I think the forward pack, it's a very good forward pack, but I think they might be out of their depth a little bit, just a little bit against the Wallabies and maybe a lot against the All Blacks, because those teams are really good. And yes, France has some incredible depth. They have some awesome depth. But still, that depth is awesome, but you still need your best players there. So they definitely will be missing their better players like a Charles Olivon, like some other guys as well. There's a lot of good guys in that team that I think will be missing right now. Backline as well with Dupont and Ramos, but they've got some very good players that I think will have a very good impact and probably get in the coach's head about, that's a bit of a headache. Who will I pick for the World Cup next year? So a very exciting squad. So now we'll see some of the games they have in store. I know their first game is against the All Blacks next week, 4th of July. It's going to be an absolutely awesome game. That's going to be a tough one for this squad. I think this All Blacks team is going to bounce back now. And I think to go there with a bit of a second string forward pack, still good forwards, but a second string forward pack. I'd say like a 1.5 team forward pack, not their best team by any means, and a good back line. I think it's going to be a close game. It's not going to be a walkover, but I think New Zealand really will be the favourites for that one. The second week they're playing against the Wallabies. Maybe by then they'll have a bit more cohesion with the squad. They'll understand what is the type of team they're going to put out, what is the type of style that's going to suit how they play. I think that Wallabies-France game is going to be a very fun game to watch with this group that France is sending. And of course, the Wallabies squad as well. There's some really exciting players there. When Theo Atisogbe going against a Max Jorgensen, maybe a Yoramo Fana going against the likes of a Len Ikitau, that's going to be a really fun game and probably a good opportunity for France to get a win, but I think that will be a close one. Then of course that last Japan game, and for all the teams that I've done previews for so far, I say that Japan game is going to be a really good game to kind of test new players, but I feel like the team they're taking, most of the players are going to be new tested players. I think in the backline they'll be able to give some guys an opportunity against Japan to end the tour off on a kind of high, and then obviously at the end of the year you have South Africa at home, Argentina at home, and Fiji at home, which is going to be 3 really good games as well, because Fiji's not a joke. Argentina versus France is always a fun one to watch. There's a bit of history there since 2007. It's a very fun game to watch. Then of course South Africa versus France is going to be a really big game. So I think right now for these first 3 games, we're not going to see the best team from France. We're going to see some of their best players, but not the whole best team, which is unfortunate. I do understand it with the timing. I really hope that in the future the top 14 can end now like the Prem and the URC did. Maybe cut it by 2 weeks short or start it 2 weeks early. That's just something maybe that they can think of doing, getting a bit of a worldwide club schedule and a worldwide international schedule. I think that would make things a lot easier. But a lot of people have been saying this for a long time. I literally can't do anything here from behind the camera. That's just what I'm saying they should do. But nonetheless, I think they've got 3 really good opportunities to win those games. I think the All Blacks is going to be the tough one. The All Blacks team right now are going to come out to try and destroy this France team. They know that they feel disrespected by the selections, and they're going to go there and they're going to try to destroy this France team. But I think that's going to be a very fun game to watch. The Wallabies one, I think, will be closer because the Wallabies are good. I think the Wallabies can beat any team in the world. But I think with regards to these rugby games, just like the UFC and boxing, styles do make fights. And I think France's style is always a difficult one for Australia to deal with. But vice versa, Australia's style is always difficult for France to deal with. So I think that's also going to be a good game. Then, of course, Japan. I'm hoping it's a close game. I hope Japan really does step up their game. I really do enjoy watching Japan play, but I think that should be a healthy win for this French team. But that being said, I will be doing a predicted lineup coming out this week. It's going to be all over. It's going to be a really fun one, but it's going to be, I think everybody, if they were to do a predicted lineup, it'll be different. So I'm really excited to watch these games. Oscar Jegu, Jefferson Poirot really deserves it. Mikel Guillard, I think, is going to be a really big factor here. Seeing Damien Pinot again, you got Jerome Mofana, Theo Atesogbe, Brau Barry, and Emilian Gaiton, Nicolas Deporte as well. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Of course, you have the magic man, Mathieu Jalibert, the starting fly-off, and I think Maxime Luku will be the starter as well, with Lacaric off the bench. I mean, that is a phenomenal backline right there. So I'm really excited to see how these guys go. It's going to be absolutely awesome, but I will be covering it in depth. Thank you so much for all the support. If you do enjoy the content, please hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.